Oh. Hey Nova, on StreamYard, how do I make my viewable pane bigger and the comments bar on the right smaller? Nova, on StreamYard on Windows, how do I make the viewable pane bigger and the comments bar smaller? All right, I'm gonna have to cancel this service because it never works. It's okay, man. I can't really read the screen because the viewable pane where your question comes up is so small, and the column on the right where I can select the comments to choose from is so big that I can't read what your questions are. So I have to read them in advance. So if so, I'll give $100, I will PayPal you right now $100 to anybody who can get me to blow up the visible pane and shrink the comment section. I'm using StreamYard and it's on Windows. Yeah, I don't know what kind of camera I have, nor do I care. What I care about is that I can't read the questions. And that's what I'm saying. Is I will pay $100 to anybody who can teach me how to make the viewable pane bigger so I can read your questions. Because right now the comments take up 50% of the screen and I can't read them and highlight them at the same time because all right, happy Sunday. Thank you. In your opinion, which way would be best to go about becoming an online coach? Yes, J3U is by far the best way. Use my code Todd5. That J3U is the best source of information on the internet. And anything that contradicts J3U, unless it's me, is wrong. And I don't think I contradict J3U. I think I just zone in even deeper in a few select subjects. Yeah, I can't read that. Any problem with eating a lot of Greek yogurt? Unless if you can digest it, then that's fine. All right. So people are ignoring the question, even though there's money on the line. So I'm just gonna fuck around with this and try to figure it out. Last time everyone was saying all these weird directions, it didn't help. It used to be you hit control and then scroll wheel up on the mouse, and that would shrink these comments down so I could see them when I'm reading them rather than me having to squint because my eyes can only last for about 20 minutes doing this unless you guys can help me on making the screen bigger because for some reason this laptop is even smaller than the last one. The last one was 17 inches. This one's 13 inches. I need to have like a 25-inch or 30-inch or 55-inch monitor so I can read these tiny ass words. Why the fuck I need to see my face but not the word? I don't understand. Like if this is question answer, I don't give a fuck about my face. I care about the words that I'm supposed to be reading. It's like this whole world is full of like these children with perfect vision. And I know you, some motherfuckers be like, my glasses. When I go to get my prescription done, they say your eyeballs are so fucked, we can't get a prescription on you. New Zealand here, my doctor wants to drop my TRT dose or put me cream because my E2. We talked about this already, man. I answered you in the comments before. If you read the response I gave you, what you need to do is get a consult with me, a real doctor. Fuck your New Zealand doctor. All right. Tranny, what do you think of upper lower days, a week split, and working sets, 2 per muscle group in each session? You mean, what do I think of my training program? I think my training program is perfect. DB, hi doctor. I've been eating 3,500 calories. So right now, you're not listening. I am not going to answer any questions until someone teaches me how to make my viewable pane bigger and the comment smaller so I can read the comments. I'm not going to squint all day at this. I will pay $100 to anyone who can help me solve this problem. I will not answer any questions until this problem is solved. Then, after this problem is solved, I will go back and I will start, what do you call it, answering your questions. It's StreamYard. So until someone teaches me how to make this words bigger on StreamYard so I can read your questions, I'm not going to read your questions. I've said it, I think, 11 times in the past 6 minutes. Like, that's how hard I have to try to read this screen. I have to lean in so fucking far. It's cruel and unusual to have the words this small. That I switched laptops because the other laptop couldn't handle it. The processor wasn't strong enough, or the RAM wasn't, or some bullshit. So now this is fast, but the words are so small I can't read them on StreamYard. There's no way to increase the font size that I know of. And when I ask Nova, she just fucking ignores me, which is a waste of $200 a month. I'm about to fire this bitch. Nova, how do I make the font bigger or the viewable pane bigger on StreamYard on a Mac? All right. I just said I'm going to block this guy. Boom. Anybody who tells me to get glasses is getting blocked. All right. Command Plus worked on a Windows, but it does not work on Mac. I will try again. Command. See, everyone says Command Plus. I don't see where the plus is. Holy shit. That did work. Okay. All right. So, dude, I don't know which one of you did that. Who said the Command Plus? I can't read it. It's Kai. Fuck. All right. Well, Kai. I'm gonna send you $100. I'm glad it's you, man. Glad it's you. You're getting $100 because Kai actually solved the problem. Holy shit, this is better. All right, now I'm gonna go back. So, boom. In your opinion, which was the best way to go about becoming an online coach? Yes, use my code Todd5. Any problem with eating a lot of Greek yogurt? No, if you can digest it. New Zealand here. Fuck New Zealand. Hire me. All right, what do you think of upper lower 6 day a week split? It's exactly what I said you should be doing. So, it's what I do. Hi Doc. I've been eating 3,500 calories in my growth phase and didn't put on much body fat. In the cutting phase, I go sometimes on a. You're going way too low, man. Just go down to 3,000 calories, and then do cardio. Don't go lower than 3,000 calories. Yeah, your metabolism might be too adaptive, or you just are fucking it up because you're doing it too hard. Dr. Todd is back, and you know what that means. Big lifts, good vibes, and absolutely zero mercy for idiots. Time to push some tin and push some bats. Bolts. Bots? Bolts. I think it meant to say bolts. Yeah, I already blocked one guy because he told me to get glasses after I just said that they can't figure out a prescription for me because my eyeballs are too fucked. Is low SHBG an issue? No. I'm guessing my blood work is showing because MAST, maybe no, it has nothing to do with MAST. Anytime you take any anabolic steroids, you're going to have low SHBG. I have no idea what YouTube is streaming. Good. Kai came the solution because Kai is the best. Say you crash your E2 with Aromazin and not something like Primo or EQ. How long should you wait to retest? I don't know. Just look up Aromazin's half-life and then multiply by 5. All right. Goat is live. Thanks, man. To increase the font size on StreamYard and I already solved it, but thanks, Dustin, that Kai solved it. George, you can manage your saved layouts by clicking settings, layouts. Here you can drag and drop order how your layouts appear in the toolbar. Okay, I don't think that's what this is. Kai fixed it. Hello, Dr. Vlad. Great to see you live again. Thanks, man. On StreamYard. Kai is boss, yes. Is he clapping for himself? I can't see what that says. It's either like yeah, Chinese handcuffs. Is that dude grabbing his nuts? All right, weird. If you want to zoom out, do control. So control worked on the Windows, but on this it's command. Push pull-ups is the best workout ever for biceps. Challenge me. If it's wide like this, Menmo Henselman will agree with you. I've noticed it too to some degree, but your hands have to be relatively close. If they're too far out, it's not going to help much. We fixed it. Kai fixed it. Kai fixed it. Bullshit. I posted the answer to fix your shit to LOL. I do IT, but as long as you're good, brother. No, I know you guys told me what to do, but I couldn't get it to work because I didn't know how to find the plus button. This time I found the plus button. Is Thor's Hammer still a 5D a week supplement? No, it's every day. Bots, brother. The video of pushing robots down the was epic on Instagram. Oh, okay. Yeah. That like hurt my feelings. I felt so bad for the robots. I wanted them to get up and start ripping people apart. I think being cruel to robots is so unfair. What's up, man? My favorite Toreador. All right. Can you zoom out? Boom. Oh, I don't give a fuck if you can see me or not. I just need to be able to see what you guys are asking. Are there, you know what? There's too much light in my eyes. There. That's better. Nice stained hat. It's so funny. If I take this off, I'm younger. If I put this on, I'm instantly older. So obviously it's the master on. All right. So are there anything you've been experiencing with your training programming lately that's been interesting or teaching you something new? Doing the three upper days a week is really helping. Where try and by the way, I dropped I went from 3 upper and 2 lower to 2 upper and 2 lower. And after 4 weeks of that, now all my lifts are down on upper. So it just goes to show how much better 3 times a week upper is than twice a week. Where in tricep are you injecting? Currently doing delts and lats. All right. This is my tricep lateral head. There. Or I could go long head. Anywhere in through here is long head. Oh. Oh. Any chance you can do an in-depth video covering ChatGPT check and comparison pics and prompts to use it? It really wasn't that complicated. I just said, do not respond to my pictures until I'm finished and I tell you to respond. I'm putting in before and after pictures. I want you to tell me what changes were made. That's it. Because if you put in the before pictures, it starts kissing your ass about your before pictures. And it's like, just shut the fuck up and wait until I'm done uploading pictures. Because you can only upload 3 pictures at a time. What's your protocol for injectable L-carnitine, dosing, timing, etc.? I do 600 milligrams before I go to the gym. And the only reason I do 600 is because that's what Chase is dosed at. Before that, because the most concentrated one was 200, I would just do 200. Hey, Dr. Todd, I was wondering how long should someone be in a growth phase before doing a deload? When you need a deload. So when your sleep is fucked up, when you don't want to go to the gym anymore, when you hate lifting, when your joints hurt, when you're no longer hungry, when all those things are hitting at the same time, you need a deload. Gear Street is the shit. Yes. The men of iron are abominable intelligence. The camera is very high up on the face. I don't know what that means. What does very high up in the face mean? Suffering from, oh, you mean like I should lower the camera, but then it cuts off the diploma. And then like if I took this out, if I went lower with the camera and the camera was here, you'd get more of my shirt. You'd have the same amount of face. It's just because I'm doing the live Q&A. I'm not going to adjust the settings on the camera just for a live Q&A. All right. Suffering from bilateral bicep tendonitis. Just started Wolverine protocol. Is it possible to expect bicep growth until recovery, or should? I mean, I don't expect bicep growth ever. Like, muscles grow over the course of years, not over the months or weeks. So everyone's got their head up their ass about this. I know one guy just put up a video that said 30 pounds of muscle in 1 month, ? And I'm sure that was clickbait. But the problem is people don't watch the video where it's just clickbait. They read that title and they think that's something true. And then I have to put up with these idiots. You're not going to gain 30 pounds of muscle over the course of your entire fucking life. It's certainly not in 1 month. All right. Hey, Doc, coming off of a 6-day stomach virus, any suggestions to get health back normal? Just drink water and eat food. And when you do go back to the gym, use 70% of your load with 3 RIR and 50% of your volume. And if you didn't know what I just said, hit the rewind button and listen to it again. All right. Low libido addressed to some degree when I switch from daily to every other day. Oh, no. So what you're getting is you're getting more DHT conversion. So you're basically benefiting from a side effect. I doubled my free test and total test by switching from sub-Q to IM. Same dose, same injection frequency. I didn't believe it until I saw the labs myself. Yep. Sub-Q's idiotic. All right. Dr. Todd is here, ready to impale bad takes and weak lips like he's Vlad himself, to shorten your form and bring your best questions, all prepared to be staked. Yeah, dude, I don't know how we can use the good camera and get Vlad in the frame. I think we have to move the camera way the fuck back. Well, that's the only way I can think of how to do it. Dude, finally caught alive. Yes. Yo, it's the OG Joshua right here. Oh, man. I don't know. I think Josh Perry's the OG Josh. Viewers hit the upvotes for the Omnisaya. They don't know what that means, but that's cool. I'm probably going to switch hats again because this is itchy. Hold on. This is way better. Way less itchy. You're like, how many hats do you have? It's ridiculous. All right. If you could create the ultimate metal band, who'd be in it? And why is Zakk Wylde the great guitar player? I mean, Zakk Wylde's good at tone. He doesn't play really technical stuff. Who would be in the greatest guitar band? I think Andy Gillian would do composition. I think either Will Ramos or Alex the Terrible or Alyssa White Lutz would be vocals. I think Austin Archie or Anthony Baroni would be the drummer. I think Alex Webster on bass. And God, there's so many good guitar players. It's hard for me to say. Jesus. Who would be the right guitar player for that mix, though? Because I created a deathcore. Jeff Loomis would be one guitar player. And Spire Lazarus is guitar player. I don't know his name, but Spire Lazarus is one bad as fuck guitar player. All right. Hey, Doc. You recommend taking AIs as part of a natural test boost stack? No, that's retarded. Oh, why did you recommend taking AIs as natural? I never said that. I never recommended taking AIs as part of a natural test boost stack. Yeah, I don't know where you got that from. It's like the camera is zoomed in, but it's better now than it was earlier. It's fine. I don't care. Tiger fan glycine glutamine. Safe molecules for blasting in 45-year-old healthy man in association of test. I mean, if you're a competitive bodybuilder, then that's when you'd use other compounds. If you're new to this channel, then you use Mastron as the growth drug. All right, Dr. Todd, did you ever try that saltwater brine for the chicken? No. The Wolverine Protocol by Todd Lee, not that fake doc. Dude, I fucking hate it when chiropractors or anybody call themselves a doctor as a profession. So this is what I didn't see in the video that I thought of later is the title doctor is given to a lot of non-medical personnel, non-medical doctors. But the form of address and profession of doctor is reserved for people who are MDs and DOs. It's not appropriate to call a veterinarian a doctor. You call them a veterinarian. All right, yo, Todd, I really want to hit the Detroit Pro, just sorting out finances. Are you going both prejudging and finals? Yeah, I guess so. I've got tickets for the whole thing. Love the hat. I'm glad you like the hat. Gears. Yeah, I switched hats. Hey Doc, watch your thyroid video. Could you speak more about the catabolism from having too little T4 compared to T3? No, I didn't. So I would just suggest rewatching the video since you missed it. I'll go over it briefly. If your T3 is higher than your T4, then it's going to eat muscle through the D3 pathway. It has nothing to do with reverse T3. All right. Dr. Todd is rapid fire tonight, blasting through questions and slaying bad takes like bodybuilding John Wick. Dude, that's so funny. What's up, Joshua and Rise? All right, what's up, Psionic? So cute. You guys are all friends. Did you see Martin Fitzwater's progress from last year to this year? He made some crazy progress. Amazing what incredible genetics and pro pre bodybuilding can do. Inspiring. Well, you got to remember, Martin is a pharmacist. So that's another person. Now, Martin doesn't go around calling himself a doctor, but he is a pharmacist. So he doesn't go around throwing that PharmD around. He doesn't expect people to call him doctor. But people overlook that. Same thing with Stefan. Stefan is also went to medical school, but he's not going around having people call him doctor. But there's this Trevor Bitchmeyer who goes around putting that his profession is doctor when he's just a chiropractor with his license revoked. All right. Dr. Todd, loved your arrogance versus consonant and how to approach. I'm glad you like those. You know what? Unfortunately, those videos don't do better. That all these people are hyper focused on the dumbest shit possible. Like, oh, should I use EQ or Primo, or should I use Primo or Mass? And then they don't have any of the core fundamental psychological skill sets to be successful at life. So I don't understand why those aren't more popular videos. Now tell us, who is a simp for you? I don't know what that means. My understanding is a simp is someone who's overly nice to women. And if that worked, if treating women, like if men treat women the way they want to be treated, and that would work. Like if you're nice to guys, guys are nice back to you. But if you're nice to women, women treat you like garbage. So why these men treat women nice when it doesn't work doesn't make sense to me. It's like, if you don't want to treat them badly, then I can understand just not treating them badly. Like I could treat women like garbage and be very successful with women, or I can choose to treat them with respect and have them ignore you. I would rather treat them with respect and have them ignore you. I won't sink low enough to be manipulative to get what I want because I see that as evil. But what I don't understand is why you'd be excessively nice to someone who treats you like garbage and continue to be nice to them. Once you treat someone good and they treat you bad in return, you should just have nothing to do with them. Best metal vocalist of the 90s, the 2000. Okay. Best metal vocalist of the 90s is going to have to go to Chris Barnes. Of the 2000s, Michael Ackerfeld. So Chris Barnes of the first 4 Cannibal Corpse albums, and then of later 6 Feet Under, and then Michael Ackerfeld from Opeth, and then later Bloodbath. All right. What kind of camera did you buy? I don't know. It's just the one Kai bought. Hemoglobin is 18.5 by hematocrit of 52. I'm lowering my 120 a week to 90 a week until I figure out what's going on. You just need to drink more water, man. You're that dude from New Zealand where they don't practice proper medicine, right? Yeah, it has nothing to do with your test levels. It has to do with you not drinking enough water. You need to drink a gallon of water before you get your blood work done. Can you speak to how T2 would assist in fat loss? Also, is the dose the poison, i.e., okay, so what he's referring to is that I have T2 in my Wrath of the Valkyrie product, which should be around here somewhere. Fuck, do I not have it next to me? I don't want to go looking for it and bore you guys with a fucking commercial. But yeah, my diet drug, Wrath of the Valkyrie. Are you it? No, you're a lens. Is T2. T2 is basically a mitochondrial uncoupler. So you end up losing heat. It works basically like DNP. So think of it as being a less dangerous version of DNP. I put it in a pill form and put a low dose of 88 because it at doses of 300, it starts getting toxic. And when I originally released it with Mind and Muscle, it came with an oral syringe where you could draw up the liquid and squirt it in. I never thought people would overdose on it. People were drinking it from the bottle. So I basically disassociated myself with the company because they refused to change the format from liquid to pills. Because for people think if you're taking 6 pills, that's too many. But they're too stupid to understand it's not the pill quantity, it's the amount of active ingredient in the pills. And that they're drinking from a bottle having 1,000 micrograms of this shit, but taking 6 pills is too much. So by me putting the appropriate dose in 4 pills, I know people aren't going to take 5 pills or 6 pills because they think taking pills is bad, but drinking something from a bottle is okay. They're so stupid. It's almost, I know I'm on the wrong fucking planet. I'm on the wrong planet. There's no excuse for how stupid people are. And I'm not supposed to hate stupid people. I'm supposed to feel sorry for them, but I don't. I just hate them. All right. Sammy G, not strictly metal, but 90s. Lane Staley is amazing. Do you have an opinion of pioglitazone? Nope, never heard of it. Methylene blue, you recommend? No, don't know anything about it. Have you ever trained any combat sport athletes? Yes. Would you be able to speak of the sort of PED protocols you would use for that population? Okay, so I'm glad you clarified that. So I had a problem with the concept of using drugs in a USADA tested organization because it's cheating. That the presumption is you're not supposed to use drugs. That's why they're drug testing it. Of course, their counter argument is, but everyone uses them. I'm like, well, what you do is you use Anavar, or some guys use T-Bol because they're in and out fast. Simple. Any idea why caffeine increases peak concentrations and AUC of oral steroids as it's administered with, possibly because of increased? No, I think it has to do with it dilates the blood vessels. So it allows better absorption sublingually. Could you have any superpower? What would it be? Immortality, including its correlating things like you don't age with immortality, and You don't get sick. You don't, poisons don't work on you. Just immortality as a general sense. The other next best one would be reading minds. If you had both, if you're immortal and read minds, and Rise 41 will get this. That's why fortitude and aspects are my favorite disciplines. Is that as long as I'm immortal and I read minds, I can control everybody. And then I can be the leader forever. You don't need to have the ability to hurt people because you know someone's secrets and you can blackmail them so that you can have them kill for you. And since you can't be killed, no one will stand up to you. Plus, there's guns. So you could always use guns as your offensive. Disney destroyed Daredevil. They will ruin Punisher as well. That is a curse. Remember, Kathleen Kennedy is leaving, and after the situation with Rachel Ziegler, that Disney is now distancing themselves with Rachel Ziegler, and Gal Gadot spoke out against Rachel Ziegler, I think even Disney is turning away from wokeisms. Joshua Perry, you didn't like Born Again so far. It's the least bad Marvel in a while. I don't know what that is, or any fictional world. Or any fictional world. Maybe he's referring to this. That might make sense. All right. I want to approach the older Gen X fit chick at this gym. What do they expect? My experience with Gen X women, because by this point she's already 40 or 50, right? 45 or older. One thing you got to know is all that kink shit that the normal Gen Z and millennials like, the Gen Xers are probably not going to like. So like even anal, like everything's off the table. It's going to be vanilla sex. Gen X are boring as fucking bad. Just even the thought of things like rimming would make them gag in their mouth and they probably wouldn't talk to you. So you got to be really careful being a gentleman, opening doors, pulling out chairs. I know you haven't gotten that far yet, but I'm just brainstorming. I usually work backwards. Like, how can I ruin the fuck out of this? Don't do that. And then I work my backwards. That being really direct and straightforward will work. Approaching in person will work. Just walking up and saying, hey, I'm so-and-so. What's your name? And shaking her hand and talking to her, like, depending on what she's doing. Like, if she's in great shape, of course, don't compliment her on her body. You got to pick something else. Like, the way you do those seated rows is perfect. I never see anyone doing those right. And they're like, she'd be like, oh, thank you. She won't ask you for details. Like, she won't grill you. Like, oh, what am I doing right that other people do wrong? She's not going to do that. But if she does, then you could say like, oh, most people don't bend at the spine and get a full stretch on the lats. They try to keep their spine in its proper lordotic arch. And then they just protract and retract the scapula, then pull with their elbows like they're doing a chest supported T-bar, when the whole point of the seated cable row is to get full spinal flexion and then full spinal extension. That type of level of detail isn't going to work. They're not particularly educated. They never learned anything unless it was word of mouth. So somebody taught her probably how to lift, and she's just doing what that person taught her. It's probably a man. They might be confrontational, and a lot of women that age think that being bitchy is charming. It's not, and they never learned. And that most people who are Gen X are not self-educated. Whatever they were told when they were in high school, they believe, and they still believe it today. They have no touch with reality. So if she's single, she's probably divorced, and she's probably bitter about her ex-husband. And generally, Gen X people didn't have high body counts, so they usually married someone really early in their life. So they think all men are like their ex-husband, and you're guilty of everything their ex-husband did before you even did it. That's going to be the uphill battle, is that you're going to have to be convincing this woman you're not her ex-husband. And you're like, well, that's a really cynical take. It's my experience. If I try to date someone my own age, that I'm constantly putting up with bullshit where they think that I'm guilty of shit their ex-husband did before, that I'm just their ex-husband in a new body, that they didn't have enough experience with men to know that there are differences, that not all men are the same. There might be common themes, but not just because their ex-husband lied and cheated doesn't mean I'm going to lie and cheat. Just because their ex-husband used steroids and had these reactions to steroid doesn't mean all men have reactions to steroids the same way. That the Gen X women are way less intelligent in that regard. That millennials and Gen Z are much smarter when it comes to that. 4 of the dudes I banged used steroids. 3 of them had tempers. 1 of them didn't. Not all men with steroids have tempers because their body count's so low. They don't really have that kind of wisdom. That it's ironic that her daughters have more sexual experience and more wisdom than she does. And that's often the case. You'll find a 25-year-old millennial will be more emotionally mature than her 50-year-old mother. So tell me how it goes. Hopefully I'm wrong about all of that, because that was a pretty negative take. Yeah. And I mean, any fictional world would you live in? It depends on what I was going to be. So what fictional world would I live in? It depends on what I was going to be. Like, I'd want to be in the Marvel universe if I was Null. But if I'm not Null, I wouldn't want to be in the Marvel universe, because there is a Null and it's not me. I'd want to be in Robert Jordan's universe if I was Tal'Virin, but not if I wasn't Tal'Virin. I'd want to be in the Star Wars universe if I had the Force, but not if I didn't have the Force. And I'd want to live after Order 66. Yeah, it all depends. If it was one world that I think I would do really good in is the Walking Dead world. That I think that would be a very comfortable place for me, because I think I'd be like Negan. That's something I could see myself doing. Although that didn't work out so well for him. I think I'd be a lot more charming and less crude than Negan. Dr. Dave Palumbo, where are you? At least he went to medical school. Masters of Divinity is a doctor. LOL. I mean, is he a real doctor, or is he just calling himself a doctor? Like Dr. Seuss. Let's see. If he doesn't come up, then he doesn't exist as far as I'm concerned. Master of Divinity. Masters of Divinity only has 112 followers. Can you see this shit? No. There you go. Yeah. So that does me no good. Podcast about 3 friends who grew up in the church, then grew fascinated with pop culture while studying theology. New episode below. They cover Dune. They cover nothing else. Interesting. And they're all like older people. This is Chaos Magic, Wanda. This makes you the Scarlet Witch. Dude, why the fuck did we go through all the episodes of WandaVision before we ever got to the part where she was Scarlet Witch? Rise 41 and Biohacking Kingpin is a cuckold. Well, no, Rise 41, Success and Biohacking Kingpin is a cuckold. Vanessa suddenly doesn't love him. Foggy got 86 for a WOC who just so happens to be best attorney ever. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, dude. I don't know what we're talking about. Rise, Success and Biohacking for sure. Love Alice in Chains. Rabbi Men's Doctor. What? means. Rabbi means doctor. Well, right, but the German word doctor means teacher. That's why what's ironic is in America, a doctor is a physician, and a physician isn't a doctor in any other country in the world. So the title doctor means teacher, and that in America, the word doctor means physician. So if T3 is high compared to T4, this causes activation of D3 pathway, which is catabolic. Yes. Isn't D3 responsible for T4 to reverse T3? Maybe. How could this pathway be more active with low T4? My understanding is D3, reverse T3 is created when calories are low or when there's infection or something. Hi, Todd. New camera setup looks good. What could cause above range TSH and normal T3 and T4? It just means that the thyroid's working really hard. I mean, the TSH, the pituitary is really working really hard to release TSH to drive up T4. And the T3 to T4, the T4 to T3 conversion is working functionally well. However, if the T3 is normal, it shouldn't be overstimulating the TSH. Maybe there's a selenium or some other mineral deficiency. I don't want to speculate any further than that, but you're right. This is an atypical presentation, and it looks like within a very short amount of time, you're going to have deficient amounts of T3, then deficient amounts of T4. So I think selenium would be the first step. Any number of the free T4 analysis that if I came, I must enter T4 during the growth. What the fuck? Oh, okay. If your free T4 gets below 1.1, I would supplement with T4 if you're using GH. Oh my God, my eyes are not handling this, even with the full screen. Thoughts on using aspirin and caffeine to uncouple? Research shows it's possible relatively. Yeah, you've heard of well, maybe you haven't. So for like 30 years ago, they had this EFA stack, ephedra, caffeine, aspirin. We now have better drugs for that. It's just a very primitive way. You can rob a bank with a rock, but you're better off using a note and a gun. Hell yeah, Chris Barnes. We're that far back. Oh my God. For training and readjusting to execute lifts better, do I prioritize pump or load weight? Load weight should stimulate, and stimulus is what creates pump. Just the rep ranges I gave you, bud, just stick to those and fail at the 1 RIR with perfect form, and you should be good. Camera is a Sony A6700. Yeah, because that's easy to remember. And like Kawasaki Ninja, that's easy to remember. Lamborghini Diablo, that's easy to remember. A Sony A6700, that's a stupid ass name. They should call it like the Sony Podcaster. That's what they should call it. Is the camera at an angle or is the diploma at an angle? Oh shit. Now the diploma looks like it's at the wrong angle, but it's at the right angle because the camera's at an angle. Takes a sip of his 100 microgram milliliter bottle of T3. No. It was T2 that they were drinking from the bottle. I don't think anyone's dumb enough to drink from a bottle of T3. All right, tips to eliminate lower back pain on leg days. Stretch. That your iliopsoas might be tight. So what you want to do is stretch your legs, kind of like the Bulgarian split squats position. Just go down really deep and squeeze your glute on your back leg so that it basically your leg, your femur goes behind your body. I'm explaining in a really fucked up way, but everyone probably will know what I mean when you do it. It's like a lunge position where your base knee, your front leg, the foot's on the floor, and your back leg, the knee's on the floor, and you're trying to drive your hips forward as hard as you can. So you stretch your hip flexors, specifically your iliopsoas. You'll feel it in your recta femoris, but where you're not going to feel it in your iliopsoas yet. But when you stand up again, your lower back pain might be gone. Oh, if it's bad lower back pump, it might be because you're not using a belt and you're not bracing correctly. Oh, why is it highlighted? I've been doing deep overhead triceps, dumbbell overhead tricep extensions, 2 to 3 sets, 15 to 18 reps. I'm on 45-pound dumbbells. Is there a certain point where I should switch to machines? When the dumbbells are so wide in diameter that you're hitting yourself in the back of the head, then I guess you should switch to cables. But I find that the actual, if you really keep your elbow close to your body and direct it straight up, that's what's going to get you the best tension. You could maybe even increase the moment arm a little bit, but what'll happen is your anterior delt will help out a lot. And you obviously have to do one arm at a time. Have you used or recommend injectable L-carnitine and injectable glutathione? I will never recommend anything because it's illegal for me to recommend things on these types of formats. This is not a medical consult. I use injectable L-carnitine before each workout. John Jewett suggests 11 minutes of vigorous HIIT cardio 2 times a week. I guess in the off season to maintain cardiovascular capacity and heart thoughts. That's not why he does it. He does it because he hates doing slow cardio because he finds it boring. That he has an intense, aggressive personality, which you wouldn't know from how sweet and nice he is in his videos, but he has a very assertive personality, and he'd rather do something hard for a short amount of time than do something boring for a long amount of time. That's why he does HIIT cardio. And also, if you paid attention to the type of HIIT cardio he does battle ropes. So that's not going to steal leg gains. All right. Signs your body is not tolerating the carrier oil well. Pimples, inflammation. All right. Todd, if you chose mind control over immortality, you could save the world. No, because someone's going to assassinate me right away. Like, no, you got to be immortal before everything else. If you're immortal, then eventually you develop skills at talking and NLP to where you could use normal speech to control people's minds. That's an impatient shortcut. Like maybe it might take me 200 years, it might take me 300 years, but if I'm immortal, I got all the time in the world, and I'd be able to control people's behavior with words. I mean, being manipulative is something lots of people are. Just think about your ex-wife, that's not a dig at you, just anybody's ex-wife. That's probably one thing you don't like about her is that she was manipulative. That's probably why people divorce their wives, is because they're manipulative. And whiny toreador, but presence is better. People love me. So the thing about the toreador using presence, though, is that entrancement can't make someone do anything they wouldn't normally do. Majesty is very expensive because it costs willpower. But if you're immortal, you're immortal. That you're immortal, you can just blackmail people. Now they'll do anything you want them to do. What do you see as the upper limit? The only way to deal with a blackmailer is to kill them. But if you're a mortal blackmailer, they can't even kill you. So being immortal is always the best way to get people to do what you want. What do you see as the upper limit of beef per day? The amount you can digest. Where is Denizen? I don't know. Favorite off-season meal? Chicken and rice. Born Again is the latest Marvel Disney Daredevil series. Dr. Todd. Oh, it's okay so far. Oh, I'll watch it then today. Oh man, what time is it? I got legs. I'm not in the mood, but I'm gonna go. 10 milligrams of Anavar sublingual pre-workout. Can this run indefinitely? It just depends on what your HDL is and your subsequent LDL. If your LDL is fine and your ApoB is low, it doesn't even matter what your HDL is, and you could run Anavar for the rest of your life at whatever dose is necessary. All right, Dr. Todd, last live I asked how much I had to pay to have Karina come on the show. I think I took a pic of the comment and sent it to her. She laughed her ass off and she said that would be cool, but she hasn't said she was going to do it. Although we may do a lifting video on Tuesday. She did text me to ask me what I was doing Tuesday. Todd, I've been rewatching the How to Cut series. Solid stuff. Curious if there's anything you would add or update to the 2025 summer season. I don't remember what I said in the video of this in the first place, so I don't know what I would add. All right, just a quick week. I just quit week 9 of test primo cycle. I was doing daily injections and rotating 8 sites. I couldn't get rid of the welts. I'm laughing not because I want you to have pain, Lance. I'm laughing because people don't believe me about how fucking awful the subjective experience of primo is. Not just because it hurts, but because you're deformed from it and the PIP by the 9th day. I'm switching to mask. Can I run it higher? Yeah, you can run. There's no limit to the amount of masks you can run. It's just you just don't need to run an infinite amount. But I've never met anyone that ran into problems with mast that didn't have problems at mast that were subjective and probably a nocebo effect. That one person I know, other than John Jewett and Nathan C, both had the same problem with dry peeling skin. And John had other things going on, so I couldn't attribute it just to the mast. But with Nathan, he said he basically did a very good scientific experiment, and Nathan had dry peeling skin. Now, if Nathan used moisturizer or used my hydration protocol, would he have those problems? Probably not, because I ran 450 Mastron a day. That's what that's like 3,150 a week. And I never had any problems because I'm, unlike everyone else, well hydrated. I drink 7 or 8 of these a day and I put salt in them. So I never have a hydration problem. Before having a hernia surgery, how would you go about creating the best environment for this with your anabolic strength? Just do everything right like it was a normal competition off season, and whatever they do and they tell you to go off your medicine, don't listen to them. They don't know what they're talking about. You're supposed to cut out fish oils because it causes your blood to be thin, but there's no reason to go off of your anabolics. The long acting, I mean, there's no reason to stay on short acting, but there's no reason to go off of your long acting and then use the healing protocol post surgery to heal fast. I remember when I had my gyno surgery, the surgeon couldn't believe how fast I healed. Because of course, it goes in one ear, not the other. They think that you're an idiot and that they don't believe you're a doctor, and that because you don't look like them. And you explain, I'm going to use BPC 157 and TB 500, and I'm going to heal faster than this. Are you sure I can't go back to the gym within 3 weeks? And they're like, no, nobody heals faster. I'm like, okay, fine. And then after 4 days, I was in. She goes, I can't believe you just had this done 4 days ago. I've never seen anyone heal this fast. You're like a bionic man. I was like, yep, thanks. She's like, you don't act surprised. I was like, yeah, I know how fast I heal. We talked about this before the surgery. I know how to heal. That's what I do. I do hormones. And then she started listening. Then it was now she's looking at me differently. Now I'm a doctor. It's always like that. With female doctors are the most stubborn women. Male doctors are much more likely to listen to you when you try to explain things to them. Earning a doctorate in a discipline only gives you a title, but you're not practicing being a doctor unless you're an MD. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for backing me up. The exception to that, though, is I will say a DO is, of course, a doctor. And there are other doctors like veterinarians, dentists, podiatrists. They are medically educated, but they don't get the profession of doctor. They are a doctor, but they're not a doctor. Is it reasonable to not be okay with a partner or a potential one's high body count? Say 7, 8. Okay, did you mean 78? Because I would consider 78 dudes to be a good start for a girl. I think girls don't really get good at giving blowjobs till they fuck like at least 50 dudes. So if you mean 7 or 8, that to me is like, that's like a weekend. That's not even like a lifetime. So I would say if you're concerned with 7 or 8 partners, you've got some issues, bro. Because like, why is it intimidating you that you have to outcompete 7 dudes? You should be able to outcompete 7 dudes, no problem, or 8 dudes. That now, in my opinion, the more body count, the better, because one, they get better at sex. Every dude they fuck, they learn new things. And then two, that there's this oxytocin thing where women fall in love with the first person they sleep with. And that oxytocin response decreases with each additional sex partner. So until they hit like 30 to 40 dudes, they still feel love for the guys they sleep with. Eventually, sex means nothing to them and they care nothing about the guy they sleep with. That's when you know that they love you for you, not just because you can give them orgasms. If you're just good in bed and they just want to keep fucking you because you're good in bed, then they don't really love you. They just love the sex. You want them to love you for you. So the only way that you know for sure they love you for you, not just because you're good at sex, is because they fuck so many dudes, they don't even care anymore. They don't have any type of oxytocin response. They no longer associate sex with love at all. Then, if they still love you, they really love you. All right. Would you become a vampire if offered? Yes. Although I would prefer to get a couple weeks prep so I could get a tan and have darker skin, and I would cut up just right. And I know a lot of people out there like, oh, you should run D-ball so your muscles will be bigger. It's like if I was insecure about my muscle size, maybe. But if anything, I would want to lean out so that I would have the most detailed six-pack possible. And I don't know if I need shredded glutes because I'll start losing overall size and appearance. But like my face will get better looking as I lean out and get a tan. I also would want to get a fresh haircut and I'd want to trim my beard, probably shave it completely if I looked good at that point. You know, if I really had a lot of time, I would get plastic surgery first and get like a mini facelift or something, maybe some Botox, so that I would look younger forever. Because believe me, not that you have a reflection and you can see what you look like, but if you're going to live with your face for eternity, you're going to want your face to be optimized and you're going to want your body to be optimized because it's a one-way door. All right, Dr. Todd, are you a fan of the show Severance? Feels like a fresh premise with a great acting. I watched the first couple episodes and it was so slow I just stopped watching it. Rabbi Dr. Todd Lee. So it's actually, people don't realize this, but it is Reverend Dr. Todd Lee. I did do the mail order ministry so I could get the title. So it's Reverend Dr. Todd Lee. If we want to get really, it's Reverend Dr. Todd Lee, IFBB Pro. All right, rabbi means teacher. Never did it mean doctor. Doctor is teacher in German. The word doctor is German for the word teacher. And most doctors, most physicians were rabbis if you go back a couple thousand years. Like Maimonides was a rabbi and a physician, an Egyptian one. All the best music, TV shows, and movies have already been created. Until a new form of media is created, we'll just keep getting nostalgia reboots and shitty IPs. Agreed. I disagree. I think that during the woke nightmare, that there is this leftist initiative to go back and rewrite the past. They were destroying statues, renaming buildings, rewriting history, and they want to take all of the great pieces of 80s concepts, all the things that shaped Gen X to be the greatest generation and that no other generation stands a chance, at least the men. But what they want to do is take away everything we created and destroy it and either change the gender or change the race or make it trans, to drag it through the mud and demasculinize everything so that all of the Gen X men would have no power, so that the millennials, which are basically like these non-binary amorphous blobs of people, not all of you, but most of you men are way more feminine and most of the women are way more masculine. And it's kind of like this blended culture of unhappy, miserable people on antidepressants with anxiety disorders. And they wanted the country to be so soft that those people would be the ruling class. And obviously that ain't gonna fucking happen because Trump won. America's going back on track. Now we're in charge. All right. All due respect, I'm pretty sure if you take enough steroids, you'll start to grow a third arm and it'll be flexing harder than your bicep. Just saying. Did I nail all your cringes? How important is stretching and mobility work for longevity and bodybuilding? 9 out of 10. I was using ECA Stack like 2 months ago before they banned. I thought they banned that shit like 20 years ago. Ephedrine. They banned ephedrine like 2004, didn't they? What's the better drugs to replace ECA Stack? I would use my Wrath of the Valkyrie product. That's better than the ECA Stack. Does interior pelvic tilt, you mean anterior pelvic tilt, give negative points in a bodybuilding show? What about tattoos? So you're supposed to use anterior pelvic tilt for the front shots, and you use posterior pelvic tilt for the back shots and the side shots. Tattoos do hurt you. Do you like the Marvel superhero M'Baku? I love M'Baku. He's cool. I don't know that he has any powers. But everybody likes M'Baku. All right. DB, you can have any non-negotiable you want in a relationship, but why would a body count be one of them? If you're concerned about STIs, there's tests for that. Amy, I think the reason that guys are concerned with the body count thing is because they're told to be concerned with body counts by the red pill movement, which some of the red pill stuff spot on, but a lot of it is just preposterous. Like having a harem of women, like why would you want to listen to multiple bitches whine all the time? That doesn't make any sense. That each woman has 3 holes. You have one dick. Why would you need more than one woman? It just doesn't make any sense. That none of this makes any sense. That the idea that you can't commit because you want variety, that's stupid. That just means you're not good enough to satisfy a woman and keep them. And that's the same thing with the body count thing, is that the fact that the girls slept with so many dudes, it means the guy's concerned that she's fucked a dude who had a bigger dick than him. And the concept is that if they've only fucked like 5, 6, 10 guys, that maybe you're the biggest dick they've ever had. But it's kind of irrelevant because that's a component of a formula. The dick size is a component of the formula. Hardness, durability, endurance, skill, knowledge of female anatomy. And then there's the whole empathy and intimacy aspect. It's like you can read her and know whether or not you're doing a good job or not, and make adjustments and figure out what she likes. All of that shit is equal or greater importance in size within reason. You know, the cervix is only 5 inches deep, so there's no point to having a dick longer than 5 inches. And the more diameter you have to your dick, the less it's going to feel good in their ass or their throat. So it backfires on you if your dick's too big. So none of this is based off of a sexual experience point of view. So for a person with your maturity level, you don't really understand it because a mature person wouldn't care about body count. It's just something that young men have been told they're supposed to care about. Halfway through the hypertrophy for dummies video now, thinking of switching to upper lower compared to my current PPL 2 times a week, legs once a week. When did you make the switch? When Michael Sommerfeld beat the shit out of C-Bum and was robbed of winning and said that he did upper lower, and I was like, you know what? On paper, that made sense. I've wanted to do it for a while. Now that Sommerfeld proved it to be true, I'm going to try it, and it's great. Hey, Doc, why do people do blasting and cruising as opposed to the ever-increasing cruise approach you speak of in first cycle video? Because they don't know what they're doing, and they're sheep, and their followers conformists. Can you ever maintain muscle coming off of a large cycle? I mean, you could maintain muscle, but you're going to lose bloat, and then most of these idiots think that bloat is muscle. Dean Jacob. Hi, Dr. Todd. I had surgery a while ago, and I happened to come across my blood work, noticed that my B12 was double. Could this be because of the surgery? Maybe you eat a lot of meat. I really wouldn't worry about it. All right, Dan Coddington. Did Sophia let you know which AI she used to create these awesome graphics on your Instagram? Hold on. She did. She did. Hold on. She's like, oh, what? With you. All right. She called it raw. Oh, oh, son of a bitch. Magic Studio AI generator on Google. I didn't know it was that far back. I didn't realize I talked to her that much since then. The Jack Tan Vampire Dr. Todd. All right. If 7 or 8 dudes been in a woman who is mine, yeah, that's an issue, my doctor. I don't really like your answer. Feel calmer now. She's not yours. She's her own person. That you're just the dick she's writing for right now until she gets bored of you and throws you away for a new one. All right, Reverend Dr. Todd Lee, IFBB Pro, I appreciate your wisdom. Can you marry my dogs legally? Because I never got married. I mean, you don't want people legally married, then the government can come in and ruin your marriage. Then your wife is incentivized to take all your money and your kids away. But if you're not legally married, you're just ceremonially married, then when she leaves, she gets nothing. Hey, Doc, is marriage worth pursuing? Is true love still alive? Men can feel it's true love. I don't think women can feel true love. The closest women feel to true love is usually the oxytocin response they get from orgasms with men when they have a low body count. Marriage is not worth pursuing in the United States because the laws are incentivizing women to leave men and take their kids. You could get a ceremonial marriage without a legal marriage, and then it has meaning because you wear rings and shit, but then she can't destroy your life just because the government literally pays her and incentivizes her to leave you and take her kids away. It's ridiculous. In your opinion, what is the most amount of oil can inject in one sitting without getting inflammation? Well, you never want to put more than 1 milliliter any one spot because then the oil bolus is so big, the surface area to volume ratio changes and it distributes the area under the curve. So if you were to inject 3 milliliters at once, then you don't do one shot. You would go pick the glute and you do 1 cc, 1 cc, 1 cc. That's why the idea that these idiots are doing a shot every other day so that they can give themselves less shot is stupid. That's why every time someone does something opposite of what I say, it's dumb. Is because they don't realize there are several reasons why I do what I do. I just give 1 or 2 of the reasons that are simplest to the general public because most people can't understand the complex reasoning that goes into it. They don't have enough education. I would say that a high body count is a good form of experience perspective, but from a pair bonding perspective, she's garbage. Fun for the night, but not for the commitment. Right, but the point is the pair bonding is kind of like a one-sided mind control that you're not really getting free will because of pair bonding. Pair bonding is bullshit. That pair bonding is bullshit. You don't want them to love you because you're the only dick they had. You want them to love you because they've had hundreds of dicks and you are the one that they like the most. All right. Opinion on marriage. So I just gave it. I'm covered in scars. Would it be impossible to do a show and be judged objectively? You'll be judged objectively. They'll be like, this guy loses points because he has scars. That's subjective. You do have them, but that doesn't mean you won't win. I mean, I'm short and I still win. All right. Ephedra was banned in Canada only last August or something. Oh, you're from Canada. Well, I don't give a fuck about Canada. You're going to be our state anyway soon enough. All right. I would say that a high body count is good from an experience perspective. Yeah. Pair bonding. Here we go. Dr. Todd needs to preach to the Brazilian bodybuilders because they do craziest shit in Brazil. Brazilians in general are too crazy for me. I'm a very low key guy, and Brazilians are very loud. So I get stressed out when I'm around Brazilians. Me and my wife were each other's first. That's awesome. Exceedingly rare sight in 2025, but we've been through together for 7 years now and happily married for 4. Religious background strong. So in this case, that's great because she believes God's going to punish her if she fucks you over. Most of these women are godless heathens, and all they care about is money and sex. So the whole concept of a God punishing them is laughable to them. But it's good that yours believes in God and thinks that you should stay together. I don't care if she enjoys it. There's miles of unused vagina out there. What? All right. AKP ran PPL for years, switched from upper arms, lower, 3 days on, 1 day off. My physique and performance have improved across the board. Yeah, I did that. I was doing that upper arms, lower before I switched to upper and then arms and lower together. Mike Somerville versus Sebum. Mike Somerville blows Sebum out of the water. If you go by the classic weight caps. Now, if you compare Sebum when he had no weight cap, when he competed in Prague against Martin, then that Sebum would beat Somerville. Keep the government out of your life and relationships as much as possible. All right, shorten John's Road. Should you do more barbell squats compared to hacks? And the first, no, because then you're going to always be chasing after bigger quads and smaller glutes. Hey, doc, low libido on trend, drop or add in some mast. None of this makes any sense. Trend shouldn't lower your libido. There's probably a false perception there. Mast is not going to help with libido. All right. Hey, doc, how do you know if you should lower your weights on lifts? If you don't have perfect form, I don't want to keep progressing. What? You're supposed to keep progressing. That's how you grow muscle. You shouldn't progress if your form's going to shit. You should be training 1 rep in reserve and slowly making progress while keeping perfect form. What's going on, crazed? Brazil is 60,000 murders a year. It's a nightmare. All right. As always, great chatting with you and everyone here. Have a great evening, Dr. Todd. P.S. Check out Puerto Rican women since you're like Colombians. I too like Colombian. Would you lower weight if you break form? Yes, absolutely. No, you should never break form. All right, there's always a trade-off. Higher body count, more fragile marriage. If one is even the case. Again, if you're not legally married, everyone needs to stop thinking about like this needs to be the last relationship of my life. You get a girl, you enjoy her for as long as she sticks around, and when she leaves, you say bye, and then you just move on to the next one. And when she comes back, because she realizes you were the best she ever had, you don't let her come back. That's it. You're never going to keep a woman, not in 2025. So forget ever thinking about it. That the fact that they're going to stick around for pair bonding is ridiculous. It's not going to happen. I'm not Brazilian, by the way. My parents are from Portugal and Canada. I want Canada to be the 51st state. I think it'll actually be more complicated than that. I think that each province will be its own state. And I think Ontario and Quebec will join much later. I don't think Quebec will ever join the US. I think Quebec will stay its independent country. I think Ontario won't join the US because there's too many liberals in Windsor and Toronto. But the rest of Canada will totally get absorbed in the US, and so will Greenland. Favorite exercise for each muscle group. Leg extension for quads. I know people are going to think that's crazy because of the best SFR, and you would do it on first before everything else to get your lateral quad. That's my reason. It doesn't make it. It's not the highest RSM. It's just the best SFR. Seated leg curls for hamstrings. I like the hoist machine a lot, actually. Donkey calves for calves. A non-hammer strength converging arm incline press for chest, or dumbbell presses if you don't have one of those. Lats, I like pull-ups or some variation, whether it's assisted pull-up or something, whatever you feel in your lower lats. T-bar row for upper back. I like laying on your side, unilateral dumbbell lateral raises, like 45-degree angles, not completely laying on your side, like I did in that TikTok or reel recently for my delts. Triceps, I like single arm cable press downs. That's where I feel my long head the best. Or I like using the Vulcan when I do a tricep with the Vulcan, or I've got a skull crusher JM press close grip bench tricep I do for triceps. But triceps are my favorite body part to train. Biceps, I would say single arm preacher machine or dumbbell preacher. It's amazing how you say do dumbbell preachers and you'll see people doing 2-arm dumbbell preachers and you're like, the fuck? Why the fuck would you ever do 2 arms at the same time on dumbbells? It doesn't make any sense. For rear delt, I mean, I like the cable, or I like reverse pec deck. If it's the right reverse pec deck machine. Not all reverse pec deck machines are good. I like the Cybex Eagle 3. All right. What's the first question I asked? I accidentally hit the post button before I was done. All right. What vitamins would you suggest to support TRT? Is there any that you would avoid? No. Zinc and vitamin D3 in particular. Do you use the baby bar handle for back exercises? I don't know what that is. We're not robots, are we? I don't think so. Meet a woman who hit the wall of 30 and watch her attitude and desire for commitment to rise. Well, as they start losing value, they want to get on, they want to hitch their caboose to someone's train that's going somewhere because they're not going to be able to play the game. But the thing is, if they're an opportunist like that and they've just been ran through for 30 years and now they want to settle down, they're not going to respect a man that will have them. It's like the Oscar Wilde thing is I'd never be part of a club that would have me. And Groucho Marx reused that line. It's the same thing. Is like they know that their value is gone once they hit 30 because they pissed away their youth and beauty on fucking as many dudes as they possibly could. So now they want to get married, but they don't respect a man that marries them. They're basically settling for that man. And so if you're a man that takes a woman who's settling for you, then she'll treat you like shit no matter how good you treat her. Ontario sucks balls anyway. I was born and raised here. All right. Ramon recently said he will smoke Summerfield if he has in the past, like he has in the past. No, I don't think Ramon doesn't have any discipline or willpower. And Summerfield's fucking incredible. Summerfield's not going to get smaller muscles, but I don't see Ramon getting bigger muscles. Jumping from one relationship to the other. Yeah, basically, that's a serial monogamous. Those aren't so bad because they're constantly trading up. You just have to be confident enough that you're the best thing that they ever could have. If you truly believe that, they'll believe it too. The thing is women will believe anything you believe. So if you think that you are the best they've ever had, they will believe that. If you're jealous of one of their exes, or if you're threatened by them having 8 other dudes, then they're going to think that you're inadequate and they're not going to stay with you. If you're like, I don't care if you fucked 7 dudes, 70 dudes, or 700 dudes, I will outfuck everyone. I will be the best sex you've ever had. And you do a good job. It doesn't mean that you're the best, but if you do a good job, then they will basically be very satisfied with you. And they won't, if they leave you, it's for different reasons. All right. What do you think will win Open at the Olympia this year? Keon, if he does it, but it's not going to be Keon. It'll be either Derek or Samson again. The close grip bar that people use for cable rows or pull downs. I like those because even though they shouldn't work, they do hit your lower lats. They do hit your lats better because they keep your elbows closer to your side. Even though your arms look like they're diverging, they really don't diverge because they're fixed in place. If you had 2D handles, yes, they would diverge. And so you would get more middle back. But because they're so close together, you really do get more lower back. So that, yeah, the triangle. I got you. Hey, doc, does Primo drastically lower your E2? Yes. Or have you ever gotten low E2 from a low dose of Primo added? Yes. Seems like nuke mine no matter the dose. Yes, that's the core theme of the channel. You're obviously very new here. All right, Todd, you're like the Punisher of bodybuilding, dropping heavy truths and crushing myths. But if my messages don't flex enough to entertain you, I'll have to bench my humor game. Just saying. I don't know what you mean. You make me smile every time, man. No hottie. Yeah, I think hottie's kind of done. How much should your body measurements be going up each month to tell if you're gaining muscle? Your body measurements won't go up every month unless it's just fat. That Luke, you got to think in terms of years, not weeks or months. All right. Whoa, this camera looks crazy. What's up, Dennison? People were asking about you earlier. Derek or Samson, I think Martin being underlooked, to be honest. I also don't see Hottie sticking around much longer with that weird fucked up shoulder. But to be fair, he's always had it. Well, you got to remember that Hottie doesn't have Hani anymore. Hani relearned Farsi just for Hadi. That Hani got Hadi the visa every year. Without a Hani, there is no Hadi, and Hani's retired. So there isn't going to be a Hadi. If he gets in the country, he's not going to be the same. Hadi didn't train smart either. Hani had to keep him on track. Martin is very smart. Martin's a pharmacist, and Stefan is medically trained as well. He almost was a doctor. So between the two of them, it's a matter of time before Martin starts winning the Olympia. Samson's waist is already starting to get too big. I think Samson's peaked and he's on his way out. Derek, I think we're seeing the best Derek of all time. So it's really going to come down to Derek or Martin and then Keon for the next 5 years. That's who I think the future is going to be. I don't think Nick's head is in the game anymore. I think he's listened to too many people counting him out. If Nick could bring the 2021 Arnold physique, he could win the Olympia. But I don't know if he can or not. We'll see. We'll see if Kyle can outdo Matt. Does EQ lower E2 on blood work? Yes. Dennison is back. Yes. Dr. Todd, what are we on? We're in 2 hours. Dr. Todd, your skills in relation coaching are very underestimated. Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, like I haven't seen an ex-girlfriend in 4 years. She still calls me almost every week. In fact, she texted me today. It's like, so I've had multiple ex-girlfriends come back to me after a couple of years and say, you were the best relationship in my life. I was way too young when you met me, and I wasn't ready for a serious relationship, and I fucked it up between us. I want another chance. And of course the answer is always no, because that's stupid. If you let them get away with breaking your rules once, there's no reason for them to follow the rules ever again. But I do think I know what I'm talking about. But people say like, oh, you're not married, so therefore you don't know women. And it's just like, that's fucking retarded. I've been dating girls for 30 years. Like I know women very well. Women don't like what I say because I'm revealing their secrets and protecting men from making, I'm declawing them, because if men know their tricks, then they can be prepared for them. All right. What dating video was next level? Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Well, do you mean the Togi one, or do you mean the how to approach girls at the gym video? Or do you mean the one that was on Colton's channel, which was really a little bit harsh? I think I went a little too hard. Luckily, women loved that video more than the men did. Todd, I was skeptical of peptides other than HCG, HGH, etc. But I just started taking SLU-P and I am impressed. Do you think they'll ever experiment with it? The whole point of that is if somebody's crushed your estrogen using Primo, then they can use SLU-P to stimulate the estrogen receptor. Or you could just use Mastron and not crush your estrogen in the first place. You could be a psychiatrist for real. I did do work in psychiatry. I did a lot of work in psychiatry. I have a bachelor's. One of my bachelors is in psychology. My master's in neuropsychopharmacology, which is basically psychiatry. And then when I was a practicing physician, I did quite a bit of psychiatry work. I'd love your opinion on prolactin. Does it raise the presence of a 19-year-old regardless? No, I don't know where that myth got started. Only in the presence of high estrogen. I've noticed it with some trend, but it doesn't go up that high. Like I was running for one show, I ran 700 tren a week. And then at the end, I was running 1400 tren, and my prolactin went from like a 2 to a 12, but it was still in the normal range. So I would say trend drives up prolactin. I don't think nandrolone does. The only time I've ever seen elevated prolactin was someone who had a lifetime prolactin issues, irregardless of their steroid use. It was some dude in Alberta, Canada, 7 years ago. People like to make the argument that NPP makes estrogen production speed up, which causes more prolactin. No, it doesn't. What it does is it upregulates it makes the estrogen receptor alpha more sensitive so that you become less tolerant to estrogen and you get more prolactin. You're nuts if you think Keon has enough size to beat Samson, Hottie, or Derek. The top three in the open is a coin flip, and the rest of the pack have a decent amount of ground to catch up, in my opinion. I was like, okay, but it's not all about size. And Keon is, as he grows out of 212, Keon at 220, like that same argument was made about Derek 5 years ago, bro. And Derek proved everyone wrong. So when Keon gets up to 225, Keon, and you got to understand, people like Samson are going to keep losing their shape as they get bigger. Derek's going to keep losing his waist as he gets bigger. All these guys are going to keep getting bigger, and they're going to keep getting uglier. And Keon's going to keep getting bigger, and he's just going to get even better and better and better. Keon's not going to blow that waist out before the other guys are. You're surpassed by him. And I did say within the next 5 years. I didn't say in the next 1 year. Nick Walker is done. Yeah, I agree. Martin versus Keon is what I anticipate being the greatest bodybuilding showdown in the next few years. Yeah, I agree. In 5 years from now, it's going to be Martin versus Keon for the 1 and 2 within the next 5 years. Crazy MMA back. Yep, he's been back. Top reasons for anti-DECA. Is it just not great bodybuilding compound? Seems to be great strength compound. It's great in a sense, if you don't give a shit about your life or your health, and you don't care about what you look like, if you just want size at all costs, even if disfiguring gyno, then go ahead, use DECA. But it's just not the best option. Is being single a better choice for a bodybuilder, in your opinion? Okay, so I would say 10% of women will make your life better if you're a regular guy. 1% of women will make your life better if you're a super disciplined, hardworking guy. Most women will just add chaos and drama to your life and ruin your life. They'll take everything from you and they'll leave nothing left. And then after they destroyed your life, they'll move on to a new host and they'll destroy his life. That in the bodybuilding world, your life is so fucking precise. There is no room for some chaotic mess at all. And that if you do date someone, she pretty much has to be a competitor and a smart one and a selfless one so that she can be there for you, because the girls' sports, like the girls' side of the sport, is so easy compared to the men's. Their posing is so basic. They don't have to grow any muscle. They think they do, but they really don't. So bikini is so easy compared to bodybuilding that it might be hard for them because women aren't raised to be disciplined. They aren't raised to suffer. They aren't raised to sacrifice. But really, if you were to switch roles, you could always, if you're a competitive, successful pro bodybuilder, you could always take your girlfriend or wife's body and make it better than she could make it. And then likewise, if she was in your body, she would destroy it. And that's 99% of the time. So I think that women just won't make your life better. There's a handful, like if you were like Courtney made C-Bum's life better. Courtney was not just an IFBB bikini pro, she was Miss Olympia. She won the Olympia. So she was good at being a supportive person to herself, and she happens to be an extremely supportive person. So she's extremely supportive to Chris and help Chris become what he is. That Ian, his coach's wife, Melissa, Chris's sister, is extremely supportive woman, but she's smart. She's a neuroscientist who gave up her career just to support Ian as a competitive pro bodybuilder. If that's your wife, then a woman will make your life better. If that's not your wife, if they're not extremely successful and extremely smart and give up everything just to make you better, then you're better off alone. You don't have any time to give to anybody else if you want to be the best of the best. Todd, what's your take on Anavar only on training days? Sublingual, I think it's great if your HDL can take it. Before you go, what is the pipeline for video uploads? Also, when do you think you will go live again? Connect details sent to your IG and let's go to that RO gym. Yeah, I mean, I think you pop up pretty easily in my DM. I want you just to have my phone number, but I don't know how to give it to you. I guess I could just give it to you in the whatever Instagram. I don't do text messages, only phone calls. I basically send a hit squad to go assassinate anyone who sends me text messages, because that's the only way to go to prison is when people text you, because they're not smart enough to not incriminate you with their text messages. What's the pipeline for video uploads? I basically record with StreamYard or Riverside, and then Kai has me cloned to his devices so he can act as me, go into them, edits them, and then Sophia does the thumbnails, and then they come up with a social media campaign based off of the videos, and then they post them on a schedule that is in the works right now. My understanding is currently it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday at midnight. It used to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 p.m. And I don't, as far as when do I go live whenever the fuck I want. If I'm in the mood, if I'm in the semi-social mood, then I will jump on a live. If I'm like, I want all people on earth to burn, I want to flay their skin from their bodies because somebody sends me a stupid text message and I just get angry, I'm not going to want to go live and talk to people. But if I'm in like a really cheerful mood, I'll go live, and then it'll be like one person will basically say something stupid and piss me off and ruin my day. But so I don't like to open myself up, because as long as I'm alone, I'm happy. As soon as I open myself up to communication with others, then as soon as someone says or does something stupid, it just irritates the fuck out of me. And then I'm in a bad mood. I don't want to be sensitive like that, but I am who I am. I'm going sublingual Anavar and swallowing. Would it still go through the liver? Yes, if you swallow, it goes through the liver. Keon can easily beat those three. Shoot. Thought I had to leave. Is there a Valhalla Labs product for joint health support? No, I don't have a Valhalla Labs product for joint support yet. Keon has to be the craziest structure I've ever seen in my entire life. Yes, for sure. No question. Do you think Prime Arnold with today's gear training and coaching would classic or open? I don't know. That Arnold's personality and willpower, being INTJ, would be a lot better when he had actual competition. He had no competition back then, and he had no science, so he had no reason or means to get better. Now there's such a reason to be better. He would be he'd be like a Mike Sommerfeld, only 6'1". To follow up, I agree with you. If Keon's shape holds up at a shredded 235, 240, then maybe unstoppable. I believe he will, because I believe he will. I would be very disappointed if he ruined his waist. And Derek's waist held up to about 235. It isn't until he just crossed the line to 240 that Derek's waist started falling apart. One who must not be named recently mentioned that there are benefits one misses out on doing GHIM, but didn't go into detail. Any merit to it? No, not at all. He's just making shit up. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Why do you know so much about dating and all that? I've been dating girls for 30 years. I had my first girlfriend in 1986. My first relationship, I was 15, she was 19 when I was in 1995. And I've been involved. I've been married for 6 years. I've had long-term relation. I think I've had 7 long-term relationships over the last 30 years that I without getting into too much details that that it used to be that the number one thing women look for was a doctor. Let's put it that way. Only if you're also a pro bodybuilder and a doctor, then on paper you have a good resume. And when I was younger, I had a lot better looking face. Like this last 2 years roughed me up using so much gear trying to force the envelope. But even like if you look at my intro, that call to action where I'm wearing white hat and a white tank top in every one of my videos, that was from the summer 2023. I looked so much younger and so much better back then that yeah, so I basically had a lot going for me and I had a lot of experience with women. Plus I coached women, almost exclusively coached women for a long time, bikini girls. So women tell you everything if you're a cancer and if you're a coach and if you're a doctor. So if you're a cancer, their coach and the doctor, they tell you everything. So I know a lot about relationships that I haven't been in because I've had hundreds and hundreds of women confess to me all the shit they were doing to their husbands behind their back. So I know how they are, and they won't ever believe it because women don't know women because they've never dated women, they've never slept with women, they don't know anything about women. All they know is themselves, and they think all women are exactly like them. So women are to give terrible relationship advice. Most women will tell you if they want good relationship advice, they go to one of their orbiters or one of their simps. They don't go, or their ex-boyfriends. They don't go to girls for relationship advice because women's relationship advice is always the same. Dump the guy. Let's go to the bar and get drunk and fuck some strangers. And that's what every girl does. So that's why girls don't go to other girls for relationship advice. Women give terrible relationship advice. Blue collar bodyman. He has the best shape and structure in the entire FPB. Yeah, for anyone beyond, yeah, for sure. Hi, Todd. Any experience with progesterone? No. I ran labs and it was low on TRT. Of course it is. It started 50 milligrams daily after 6 weeks ED, anxiety, and hard to sleep. Drop 3. You're probably using Prope or some shit, and it's just that you were basically having too low of I don't know. Yeah, I don't really know why. It's probably just the DHT difference. When people do 3 times a week, their DHT levels are sky high, and you probably need sky high DHT levels for your anxiety and all that stuff. All right, if you wanted to put on glycogen and add fullness as quickly as possible, what would you do? I would eat carbs. I know you hate D-ball, but it was honestly thinking about throwing in. Yeah, what you could also do is throw in some food. If you eat food, that's what makes glycogen. D-ball doesn't make glycogen. Doc, huge difference in dating a woman and being married to one. Just having a kid, you won't understand it till you experience it. Can't be explained to where you would understand. You have to live it. I've lived with women, man. I've lived with women and with kids. I've had 5 stepkids. I know all about women. I know all about living with women. And I know that when you're married to them or you're living with them, I've been married for 6 years before. When you're married to a woman, they treat you so much worse than when you're dating. They treat you like fucking garbage, especially if you're raising their kids and paying for everything. Then they look down on you and treat you like total shit, which is so stupid because it should be the opposite, that without you, they'd be homeless and their kids would go to their baby daddies. You're the only thing keeping their kids with them, but it doesn't matter. They still treat you like shit because they think you're some simp bitch because you're dumb enough to support them and raise other men's kids rather than you love them and you love the kids and you want to do what's best for them. They're not capable of love, so they don't understand why someone would do something in altruism. Everything they do is selfish, so they don't get altruism. Todd, ever notice Joshua Perry's hilarious contributions? He's everywhere. Yes, I do notice. Josh is awesome. I swear, I've never seen anyone in as many streams. I'm a just. Dennison asking real questions now. Gotta pick on Dennison, huh? I'm already lean and pretty full, except for the shoulders at 220. You might be surprised. Maybe I should get a consultation. You should, man. But for sure, carbs are what makes glycogen. I couldn't agree more. I just think 10 to 15 more pounds, and then Keon would be a king if he was elite conditioning and peaks. Well, I think that him and Pitor figured out the formula for him. Already running test mast, EQ, GH, HCG. Well, if you want to be fuller, I would take the EQ out because you don't need that. Good afternoon, Todd. Your thoughts on rumors about raw shortages, especially Primo, Vart, and Mast? Well, the smart thing to do, which is what certain people did, was you knew this was going to happen, so you should have bought a few kilograms of mast before the shortage so that you'd be able to last for 4 years without having to get any more. And only an idiot would have waited until after the tariffs with China and then they bought it. Like, you're a fucking idiot if you didn't buy the 4 years worth of gear in advance. All right, flayed skin as an outfit. You've been reading Conrad Kurz. What's your MBTI? Oh, I'm INTJ. Only thing bad I see on Keon is his abs are separating. That already happened from when he used to lift sloppy. He doesn't lift slop anymore. That's right, everyone. Dr. Todd has been eating Ace since before most of you were born. Ace? I'm eating Ace? Yeah, your face looks great. You just have to shave it and show it. All right, I'll go shave. All right, when you're a long-term relationship, was there a certain turning point or a series of events that led to the breakup? You said you had 7, wondered if there were familiar patterns. Yes, the familiar pattern was with my wife, it was I started bodybuilding and she didn't like it. So she would insult me and say that I look gross and my body was disgusting and that she'd rather have sex with Joe Dirt. So I divorced her. No one talks to me like that and gets away with it. Then, as far as the next relationship, she wasn't faithful because apparently I'm emotionally distant. That due to my autism spectrum, women don't feel like I have an emotional connection with them, that they don't feel loved. And so it's my fault that they had to go sit on other dicks. And that happened in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 relationships after that. So at this point, I just accept that women are not faithful, or even if they are faithful to other people, they will not be faithful to me. And then they will blame me and my lack of emotional connection with the cheating, which is funny because a normal dude would be like, if you're cheating, it must be the sex. And they're always, and then all of them are like, no, it isn't that. It's the lack of emotion that should be there during, after, and before. That you're just like my friend who I fuck and or live with. It's not like a normal relationship. There's no emotional connection. There's conversational intimacy. Like, I know them better than anyone else. I know what they'll do, and they agree that their life is better because I give them good advice, and when they listen to me, everything works out for them. But it's not like a storybook relationship. And then afterward, they always come back and say, this was a terrible mistake. I shouldn't have strayed. I blamed you for what I did. Really, I'm just insecure. And I thought that I could do better. A lot of the times, I would say 4 of the 7 relationships, they straight up said, it's your height. I thought that I should trade up to a taller guy. My friends would tease me because you were short. So I thought if I traded up to a taller guy, my friends would stop teasing me. You also have to remember that all of these women were like, my wife was 30 when I divorced her, but she was 22 when I started dating her. The next girl was 28 when we fell apart. The next girl was 22. The girl after that was 19. The girl after that was 25. The girl after that was 34, but she'd done so many drugs that her brain was basically like a 13-year-old. And then the next one after that was 28, but she was an army captain and she was really bossy. And I dumped her after 3 weeks. I was like, I'm not one of your soldiers, bitch. No one talks to me like that. We're done. And then when the next one was 28, and she like severe alcoholic, like 2/5 a day drunk. So, and she lived in a different state. So I didn't even care if she fucked other dudes because we were so far apart. And she was like most girls, deep down, she's an info. So she can't go that many days without sex. So I didn't give a shit. But she assumed I would cheat on her because she cheated on me. I was like, honestly, dude, I don't care. Like, I drive out there, we sleep together for 3 days. I come home, I live for 4 days. I come back, we have sex for 3 days. I don't give a shit. I don't have time to fuck girls in the 4 days that I'm gone. I have to lift and eat and catch up on my training. Like, I've got 2 lives that I live. You have one. And it just didn't work because of the amount of physical abuse. And she would just hit me all the time. Let's see, where is it? Yeah, that was the reasons for those. So I know what goes wrong. I'm not saying that I'm some expert at creating lasting emotional intimacy with women, but from what I understand is I'm broken, that there's something wrong with me, and that I can't create that with anyone. For the Emperor, Todd's knowledge is truly blessed by the Emperor, but even Space Breeze needs sustenance. Bingo. The worst thing to eat that lowers your testosterone and sex drive is wedding cake. Can you hit muscles with a 5? No, you can't. Hey, Dr. Todd, I have a bunch of tests on Decanoate. What are your thoughts on using that for my test base? I mean, I would rather you just use SIP or an athlete, but undecanoate should work fine. Do you like H.P. Lovecraft? I love H.P. Lovecraft. Dr. Todd, on point with women and kids. Thanks, man. Fat compared to the IFBB. What are we talking about? Fat compared to the IFBB? Have you heard of someone not tolerating mast well and it causing fatigue? I've heard of people having subjective, vague symptoms they attribute to mast. I've never heard of that vague thing. I usually, being, Gen X, it's usually just walk it off and quit being a pussy. Playing the victim while cheating against you. Would you say Gen Z is more fucked in this record? I'm diagnosed ASD as well, and what you're saying kind of frightens me. So I think with Gen Z, the Gen Z girls I've been involved with, is that they don't even have a concept of healthy relationships whatsoever. That Gen Z's exposure to relationships is exclusively fuck swipe apps, where you just swipe right, swipe left, swipe right. They swipe right, you communicate. You like, want to smash? They like, yeah. They go over to your house, you fuck, and then they leave. So they have extremely unhealthy relationships with sex. They don't understand the concept. Like the sheer premise of making love is oblivion. They have no idea that it even exists. So I don't think that Gen Z women are capable of having healthy relationships. I don't think Gen Z women could ever be someone's girlfriend. I don't think Gen Z women could ever be a wife. I think that the Gen Z women are better than the millennials because they're not woke, but they're still fucked in the head, and they're never going to be able to have a healthy relationship. I think that now that Gen Z want men approaching them, there might be something approaching the way it should be, where you go up to a girl, you talk to her, you express interest, she expresses interest, you get her phone number, you call her, you don't text her, you set up a date, you go and either pick her up, or a lot of women don't want you knowing where they live, so you call them an Uber and have them Uber to the place where you're going to meet them for dinner. And if you're smart, which is hard, you'd have to meet the Uber driver first and put flowers in the back seat so that when the Uber goes and picks her up, there's flowers already in the car. And then when they come to the restaurant, or you give them the flowers at the restaurant, it's on a vase on the table. And you basically have dinner with them, and then you call them an Uber to go home, or they ask you to drive them home. And then if you drive them home, they may ask you to come up. Hopefully they don't. It's not that I won't sleep with a girl on a first date. I just don't think it's ideal. I think that if a girl really, really likes you, she's not going to try to have sex with you on the first date. She's going to want to really determine whether you're a good guy for a long-term relationship. and she's not going to want to contaminate her assessment with any type of pair bonding that occurs from oxytocin release from having sex. But most women don't have any class, and so they'll probably try to sleep with you the first date. I never do. And if they ever ask me to, I usually try to find a way out of it, which usually means you won't get a second date. But I'd rather just not get involved with that shit because I don't want to have sex with someone, start to really like them, and then have them ghost me because they're bored because there was no challenge. And I know it seems like that's weird. I call bullshit. It's like, there are some times when if a girl's really, really hot, I'll do it. But I'm like, I know that I'm sacrificing the relationship just for one night. It's like you're going to lose the war to win the battle. But if it goes right and she just, she parts ways with you for the evening, but texts you when you're on the way home, asks you if you got home safe or whatever, or you text her, I had a really good time, and she says, I had a great time too, whatever. This is where it gets confusing is how do you talk to a girl after a first date and without it being you being too clingy? Because women look for anything possible, which it's often it's very healthy behavior and it's very nice behavior. But if you're being healthy and nice, they're going to think that you're desperate or a simp. So if you're just like, hey, thinking of you, whatever. And then hopefully if you're more direct, you're like, I really had a good time. Let's go out again. What are you doing tomorrow? Or what are you doing on Thursday? Or what are you doing next Tuesday? And then you plan another date. After a while, they're going to start coming on really strong with the sex stuff. And then after a couple dates, if you start sleeping together and you like it, you keep sleeping together, you keep seeing each other, it should develop into a relationship where they only want to see you and you only want to see them. And when you're not with them, you're thinking about them. And when they're not with you, they're thinking about you. And you're texting all day together so that you kind of become a thing. You're like integrated rather than separate. And then that's where a relationship starts from. The mistake a lot of people have is that they think that because that's going to end, they shouldn't start it. And I disagree with that, that just because a relationship's not going to be permanent, it might be semi-permanent. It might be 3 years, it might be 5 years. It's going to last for as long as it lasts. And it's going to be it's good as long as it's good. And then when it's not good anymore, it shouldn't last. All right. For the emperor. All right. What's up, STI? What compound makes veins appear larger and zigzagish compared to overall enhanced look? I don't know. Yep. To me, this is just a dumb question. Why would you think that one drug does something the other drugs don't? They're all the same. They're all anabolic steroids are the same. If they're differences, they're minute differences. Yeah, for those women hit the wall at 30, they suddenly realize they fucked up. We put up with, and then they're hot. We put up with it when they're hot. Right. And that's another thing is a lot of girls think that it's cute or men like it when they're bitches. It's like, no, you're hot. And so we think you're hot, regardless of being a bitch. But when you're ugly and a bitch, then no one wants anything to do with you. So women get resentful at men because they used to be attractive and now they're not. And they have an ugly personality, but they had an ugly personality the whole time. Whereas if they were charming and funny and smart, then as they lose their looks, they're still charming and funny and smart. They still have value. I heard from one of the expert coach on YouTube talking about some benefit of beta blockers in off season to decrease insulin needs in off season. By that, T3, M2, or insulin resistance fucked. Yeah, I don't really understand what you're asking me. All right, intensity 6 times 3 or 25 times 5. I don't understand what this is asking me. I've been listening to H.P. Lovecraft audiobooks on YouTube channel Horror Babble, and I thought you would like it. Yeah, I love H.P. Lovecraft. Shadow of Time is one of the best. Space Marines can eat their enemies and see their memories. They even have acid spit in case of hard exoskeletons. That's fucking sweet. I IG'd you my cell, by the way. Talk to you later, brother. All right, bud. Talk to you later. Sean Siegel, I thought you use insulin needle free injections. I do. How do you do it? I use the 1/2 inch insulin, not 5 16th. Is it common for the front of your body to be ripped and your back still blurry? Yes. My abs, chest, shoulders are veiny and striated, but my back is watery as hell. Looks blurry as shit. Yeah, they probably do your cycle wrong. Probably on too much gear. Is it so easy these days to get it with online dating? Maybe if you're good looking. If you're ugly, it's hard with online dating. All right, guys, insulin syringe, 30 gauge, 13 millimeters or longer, shoulder, traps, chest, thighs. I agree with all that except for the thighs. Was there a point where we'd going on 2 hours? I got to get off this. Was there a point where you weren't able to weaponize your AD&D, ASD, and last considerable momentum? No, you can always weaponize your Asperger's. All right. Cool. Aren't you 5'8"? No, I'm 5'4". It seemed like it hasn't stopped you attracting and dating women. It would be weird that they would have a problem later on. I've seen guys that were tall get away with craziness. No, I'm 5'4", and it's a good point. No, in person, women don't seem to care, but online dating, if they know you're 5'4", they just block you instantly because they misunderstand. They don't realize that all the dudes that they think are 5'7" are probably 5'4". That guys lie about their height. I'm actually telling the truth about my height. And it is ironic that it's a problem later on. It's not because it's a problem later on. It's because when you give a woman 100% security and they have everything that they could ever want, they're bored. So they want to cheat because women need chaos. They need drama. So if you're not giving them drama and you're not giving them chaos, if you're not cheating on them and running around on them, then they will cheat on you and run around on you. They need to have drama. They're very immature. And so when they don't want to admit that they're the fucked up one, that they're the immature one, that they're the bad person. So they blame you. And when there's nothing to blame you for, then they're going to pick something like a physical handicap like your height. So like when someone's like, well, I had to cheat on you because you're short. It's like, all right, so there is nothing to complain about. Nothing to complain about because my height wasn't the problem for the first year of the relationship. But within a year, women are always going to get bored and they're going to cheat. And what's funny is men will say, not my Susie, she doesn't cheat. You'd be amazed how stupid men are that I literally have men asking me about needles. Like men will ask me, what size needle do I use? That's how stupid they are. I'm like, however big the needle needs to be to get into the muscle, fucktard. It's like men are that stupid that they don't know how to divide 500 by 7. They're like, how do I split up 500 milligrams a week into daily injections? If they're that fucking stupid, why on earth do they think that they're going to catch their girlfriend cheating? That's what blows my mind is all these men think their women are faithful. I doubt any of them are faithful. They're just so stupid. And I know they're stupid because I see their questions. Like, if you don't know this, how the fuck are you going to catch a woman cheating? It doesn't make any sense. So she looks like shit all week long for you. But when she goes out for girls' night with her girlfriends, she has a full face of makeup, long hair. She's wearing a mini skirt. She smells nice. She's got heels on. She'd never put any effort into looking good for you ever, ever. But when she goes out on girls' night, she looks like $1,000,000, like when she was dating you and she actually liked you, and you didn't put it together that she's cheating. Motherfuckers, stupid as fuck. That's why. It's because men think that these women are faithful because they're dumb. All right, damn doc, you have been a bunch of crazy skinks. Where do you meet all these women? Gyms and bars? No, I don't go to bars, dude. And this is my point: is you think they're skanks? That's just what women are like, dude. It's like I know what they're really like. It's that the other men who think their wives are special and different, they're the stupid ones because they can't see through their shit. I use a 29 gauge 3/4 inch rotating delts every day. So that's good. Thanks for the much. That's too much for a first date, Todd. Maybe it was just an idea. I mean, obviously you know more about girls than I do. All right, let's give some credit to your watchers tonight. Very low PV questions. Yeah, that's a good point. Got to pay the cat and mouse game with them. It sucks, but it works. So this is my point: is I won't play games. I'm just straightforward and direct, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if it, like I'm a gentleman, and I try to treat them the way I would want to be treated, and I wouldn't want someone playing games with me, so I'm not going to play games with anyone else. I took your advice and I'm pinning with a slim pin every day, even sometimes twice a day, the morning and night. I'm seeing a great difference in how I feel and how it looks. Thanks. You're welcome, man. Hey, Dr. Todd, what would you suggest as far as training with my job schedule? I don't know what your job schedule is. All right. I agree with Dr. Lee. I have turned down women on first date who wanted to have sex, pisses them off. They can't take it. It is funny because when the shoe's on the other foot, they're such fucking hypocrites. When ordering anabolics, do most use? Yeah, I'm not going to answer that question. Dr. Todd, your opinion about Gen Z generally is right, but might be cause conflict between people. What do you mean? It's just that the women in Gen Z have never had any normal approach to relationship. So all they do is hook up culture. So they don't have the ability to have relationships because they don't know what they are. I'm gonna take a shower. Alcohol kill my gains. I don't get it. Thanks for the detailed response. Okay. We are our red pill tonight. No, I don't agree that I'm a red pill guy. Dr. Todd, how did you order masks from China? Not gonna answer that. All right, I'm blocking this guy. This guy's a son of a bitch. There. Hey, Dr. Todd, how would you approach training with a job? I work a 7-day minimum 87 hours physical job and average 20,000 steps a day. Then I get 7 days off. I'm struggling with training on my 7-day minimum 87 hours physical job. I guess don't work on your 7 work days, just work on your 7 days off. Seems pretty obvious. All right, I had a broad tell me she wouldn't even cook for me. How the hell is that attractive? I don't think women should have to cook for you. I don't think women should have to do anything. But I think that they shouldn't be lying, cheating, stealing, hitting, or being emotionally abusive. All right, Josh, I'd be like, peace out, girl that won't cook. All right, so the guy, all right, so it seems like Blue STI is Mr. Toxic Alpha Male because he plays mind games with women and says fucking them is easy on the dating apps. So he emotionally manipulates women in order to sleep with them. That's what I'm gathering. Zigzaggy veins. But if she gives it up a lot, it might make it worth it. All right. Sandy, which compound provides your favorite pathway to mood enhancements? I don't believe you should use drugs for mood enhancements. I think you should just be alone and you'll be happy. It's just our turn with women. So you're basically are angry at women and want to lash out and hurt them. And so you manipulate them and play games with their heads to sleep with them to punish them for what they did to you in the past. Yeah, this is what a blue red pill guy looks like, guys. I am not a red pill guy. All right. Should be called red sexually transmitted disease, not blue sexually transmitted disease. All right, girls' night is for girls only, right? Yeah, Dr. Todd knows women better than testosterone. Yeah, I sure do. Those men never hit 100 push-ups and talk about intensity. The pump. All right, what muscles do you inject currently? Triceps and delts. Leaving my entertaining job, Todd, only pays me $4K a month in NYC in poverty. Made it that 2 days doing gay for pay. Good idea, bro, or not? I mean, if you can do prostitution and make money at it, man, go for it. I mean, all the OnlyFans girls do. Leaving Monday. See ya. Todd, start blocking everyone that asks stupid questions. It's about to get thin in the chat. Well, no, it's because he called me a red pill. Anyone who insults me is getting blocked. No, man, I'm not toxic. You just admitted that you initially manipulate women to have sex with them by playing games with them. And then you bang them and you think that they should cook for you and that it's your turn to get revenge on women for how they treated us in the past. That's pretty fucking toxic. All right. Blue I say you're in comment away from getting blocked. It depends on how he talks to me. Not saying stupid shit and disagreeing with me won't get you blocked. Insulting me will. Share the knowledge, brother. Shit. Only other people dumber are quad injectors. No, I won't go that far because quad injection is a logical thing to do, but there's long-term consequences to your knee. I think I would get along with you, Dr. Todd, in real life, honestly. Everybody gets along with me in real life. I'm way easier to get along with in real life. I just stick to PE questions. Sorry, Dr. Todd. Todd, you worked out today or rest day? I'm supposed to hit legs after this. What's the next collaboration you have coming up? I got Branch Warren, Nick Walker, Mike Sommerfeld, Broderick Chavez, supposedly Jocko Willink, although I think he's giving me the runaround. I had to get this camera situation all squared away. Once I got all the lighting and the camera all perfect, that's when I would start having on these high profile guests. I got Leo, the video I did with Leo drops Monday. Now that I'm all caught up on these questions, I feel I should get running. Dude, I'd have to fly out to San Antonio to train with John. I bet he would do it too. I'll be like, hey, John, Sam Siegel thinks we should do a video together. The John is the bomb. Just bought some of your subs. Can't wait to try it. I just wanted to support you as well for your videos. Thanks, man. Mike Sommerfeld, Nick, and Warren. Damn, man, congrats. Well, I mean, they said yes verbally. We'll see what happens. Dang, you have a good collabs coming up. Thanks, man. All the reason not to get blocked. No, I'm kidding, dude. You can treat women like shit. I'm not going to block you. It's just how you treat me that's going to get you blocked. When will these collabs be? When I feel like it, dude. I don't know. I'm like, good night, Todd. Thank you for your time. Keep doing lives. All right, I will. But Zionic is right. We need to thank you guys. Thanks for no more stupid ass fucking steroid questions. Oh my God, are they so fucking boring? It's so simple. Oh my God, it's 20 to 40 milligrams of test a day, 2 to 8 units of GH a day, and then as much mast as you need to grow. It's literally nothing more to it than that. No other questions are relevant since they're completely obviated by the sheer perfection of the plan. There's no need to discuss anything else ever. It's so dumb. It'd be like if this was a sex. What's the correct tempo to have sex with a girl's armpit? It's like, why don't you just use your vagina? And it's like, what's the correct amount of times you should slap her in the face with your dick? It's like, not every girl likes that. It's probably best you don't even try it. It's like the same shit over and over again. It's like you can just do the most basic shit and do the basic shit well, and you're done. You don't need to do anything else. Oh my God, look at all these questions that rolled in. All right, are drop sets and antagonist supersets good training techniques for a time crunch? For a time crunch, yes. The Emperor protects. Solid question. Steroid questions done with. Good. All right. What, in your opinion, about the main difference between wife in comparison to a girlfriend? Is there a difference? If a girlfriend is just someone who's a probationary wife, that they're basically they're auditioning for the job of wife. And if they do everything right, then you put a ring on their finger and make them your wife. If they stop doing everything right, you take the ring off their finger. And then they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm demoting you to girlfriend. And they're like, why? And it's like, because you're not being a very good wife. When you wanted the job of wife, you were doing all these things right. And then I took you off probation. I made you a full wife. And now you're acting like shit. So I'm taking that ring away, and you don't get it back until you start behaving. That's it. Simple. And if she has a fit, you fire her ass. You're like, fine, you're done. And since you didn't marry her on paper, you can get rid of her very easily. You just put her shit on the street, and say, have your mom come get you because I'm done with you. All right. I'm all the way up. This guy's been talking to himself for hours. I think people get their gear questions out of Vigorous Steve. They are awful this week. Oh. Mastron gave my libido a big boost. Okay. Those men never hit 100 push-ups. I'm talking about intensity. That's the same question. Overload versus overweight. Yeah, dude. I don't know. It's like these sudden fragments coming out of him. It's like jibber jaggering away, like it's Drusilla from Buffy. Fucking hell. What a lineup, brother. Make sure you connect with me. All right. I'm probably gonna answer my own question, but I grew up with allergies all my life. And when I got on roids, my allergies went away. So I figured I probably had a low test. Ever heard of this? Usually the androgens are gonna make your histamine issues get worse, not better. Why does Mike Menser keep popping up? What do you think of his training ideas? Okay, so Mike Menser did not use those techniques to get that body. That he teamed up with Arthur Jones, and Arthur Jones wanted to sell a modality that he wanted to make people go to his Nautilus training facilities to use his Nautilus machines. So he got these Casey Viator and Mike Menser to endorse these training techniques for money. It's kind of like guys who are telling you to use Serostim because the Serostim dealers give them free kits if they tell you to use Serostim. All right, poor Steve having a deal with possibly hundreds of denizens every week. Drusilla was so hot. Can't even imagine her in the sack. Yeah, that's a good point. The crazier the bitch, the better in bed. There's no question. Vampire Willow. Vampire Willow was hot as fuck too. All right. Why does D-ball get more hate than Anadrol? Because Anadrol doesn't have nearly as bad as side effects. And the people that use Anadrol are usually big and strong and scary. And the people that use D-ball are usually just fat pigs. So you're less likely to get beat up if you make fun of D-ball than if you make fun of Anadrol, because Anadrol actually works. Todd, can you give a rundown of your quad focus leg day? Actually, I don't have quad focus leg days. I don't believe in focus. I believe in just hitting legs correctly. So I do leg curls, then I do adductor, then I do leg extensions, then I do some type of compound leg exercise like a hack squat or a leg press or a belt squat. And then I try to repeat that as frequently as possible, ideally every 48 hours. And if you're store, then it means you should turn the volume down. That might mean you're only doing 2 sets of leg curls, 1 set of adductor, 2 sets of leg extension, 1 set of hack squat. But if you hit that 3 times a week, it's more efficient than if you did all that on one day. Casey literally said he would go train during the Colorado experiment. The whole HIIT thing was just a reactionary movement to excessive volume use at the time. Yeah. That's kind of like me. Once I started cycling and then true TRT, I rarely get sick now compared to before. I used to get sick all the time. I won't even bullshit. I feel quite swayed away from the DECA TO mast for my next building. Last time I actually did a mast build was 2003, leaning out and the proper body fat to do it right first. Good. I thought Anadrol had a lot more side effects and is more toxic. But you're comparing 10 milligram of D-ball tablets to 50 milligram Anadrol. So people are comparing 20 milligrams of D-ball a day to 100 milligrams of Anadrol. If you were to take 100 milligrams of D-ball versus 100 milligrams of Anadrol, the D-ball is going to be way worse. Should Captain America have been portrayed by a more bodybuilder-sized actor in the MCU, assuming he's even the pinnacle of human potential? No, I thought Chris Evans looked fine. That none of the guys in the movies looked as big as the characters in the comic books. So if you scaled them all down appropriately, it was pretty balanced. I mean, it's easier to teach a bodybuilder how to act than it is to teach an actor to train like a man. Acting's not that hard. Bodybuilding is. All right. That's America's ass, sir. All right. Off topic. You had a great hat, curved brim, in one of your recent videos. No label. What was that hat? Quality was super superior. Um, King's Fifth. King's Fifth is made for shorter guys because the crown to ear length is less. Ooh, Hulk was the right size. Yeah, Hulk was CGI. How much does insulin cost in Detroit? Can I purchase it over the counter? I don't know what that is, bro. I have very hot blood pressure. I have to take a cold shower. Dude, this guy's. We have to change your name to Drusilla. You're totally Drusilla. All right. What hat was that? King's Fifth. When would Anandrol be worth adding to? Never. You never use orals. Never. Ever. All right. Medium, not cold. What are you talking about? Ben is on the red wine. What the fuck? King's Fifth. It's like, oh my God. All right, I'm done. I've had to repeat that 3 times. I'm done. Guys, you have a good night. May the force be with you. Yep. I know which hat it is. King's Fifth. Bye bye. May the force be with you. Mm.